Whenever I ask people who were some of the best wrestlers that ever come into MMA, your name is always mentioned in that. Kevin the Monster Randleman.
Hoorah! This guy was as good as it gets.
Kevin Randleman was an absolute genetic freak.
The one moment that I'll always remember is Kevin Randleman, Fedor Emelianenko.
But I'm a fighter, and I was a world champion. And if I have no problem coming out of and saying, hey, I was raped as a child, and it wasn't my fault, you can get help. And you can be just as good, if not better than me.
But for you, I'll go to hell and heaven and back. I fight for you guys. I love you guys.
God bless you all.
If you enjoy stories about legendary fighters, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's step into the world of Kevin the Monster Randleman. Born on August 10th, 1971 in Sandusky, Ohio,
Murder capital of Ohio. I'm a product of my environment.
Kevin Christopher Randleman grew up in a large family with a humble upbringing.
I'm one of 11 kids. We weren't rich. We were actually, kind of like poor.
I was bow-legged. I wore braces on my legs for 4 years. And when they came off, I was a fat kid. I read a lot of books. Once the braces came off and I was able to run and play with the kids, I started kind of doing my own thing.
As a kid, he often found himself in street fights.
Because I was out doing stupid shit, running the streets, thinking I was the man.
When you don't have money, you fight. You learn how to do a lot of things.
I've got brothers and sisters that are in jail, drug addicts, almost all of them. And I'm just thankful to God that he gave me the presence to have people around me with a strong mental to keep me mentally always focused, because it'd have been easy for me to be a drug dealer.
Sports quickly became his outlet.
Didn't have a lot of money, and my only way to get out was to go to college.
At Sandusky High School, Randleman excelled in multiple disciplines. He was a 4-year starter on the football team, a track athlete who qualified for state finals, and most notably, a dominant wrestler.
I went to college. I went to the Ohio State University and met Mark Coleman.
I was his coach for 5 years. He didn't think I liked him, and we never talked. I had no clue, but he thought there was a big problem, racist or something like that. He thought we were gonna have to fight. And then we're in the weight room and he walks by me. I said, yeah, you wanna lift with me today? And he's like, what? That was the day. And we busted it out. I said, you can lift with me every day if you want. And he ran home and told his mom he likes me. Yeah, I coached his ass. I turned him into the monster, man.
By his senior year, 1989, he won the Ohio State Wrestling Championship and finished his prep career with an impressive 122-11 record. These achievements laid the foundation for his move into collegiate wrestling, where he would soon become one of Ohio's greatest athletes on the mat.
And in college, I was 5'8", wrestling 170, so I wasn't a big guy fighting, and I was fighting guys that were big 260.
In 1990, Kevin Randleman joined the Powerhouse Wrestling program at Ohio State University. As a redshirt freshman, he stormed through 42 straight victories, claimed the Big Ten title, and reached the NCAA finals at 167 pounds, finishing as runner-up. He came back even stronger the next year. In 1992, Randleman went undefeated and captured his first NCAA championship at 177 pounds. Then, in 1993, he repeated the feat, winning a second national title, incredibly while fighting through a dislocated jaw. By the end of his collegiate career, Randleman had compiled a 108-7 record, 3 Big Ten titles, and 3 All-American honors. He was later named Ohio State's Wrestler of the Century and inducted into the university's Athletics Hall of Fame in 2004. Academic struggles kept him from competing as a senior, but his place in wrestling history was already secure.
So Mark Coleman saw how relentless and how aggressive I was and how much I could fight. And when he became the UFC champ, everyone always asks you if you have anyone that you train with. So the first thing in his mind was like, yeah, Kevin Randleman.
After college, Randleman was looking for his next challenge. He stayed close with his former Ohio State teammate and mentor, Mark the Hammer Coleman, who had just become the UFC's first heavyweight champion. Coleman saw Randleman's athleticism and pushed him to try the new sport of MMA, inviting him to train alongside him as part of the soon-to-be legendary Team Hammerhouse.
Working with Mark Coleman being my coach, he and I are the pillars of Hammerhouse.
Did you get him started in fighting?
Oh, yeah. So I coached him, and then we went our separate ways for a couple years. After he graduated from Ohio State, he went back to his hometown, and all of a sudden I started the UFC, and then, first thing I thought, oh, gotta get Randleman.
And at the time, I had a son. I wanted to go home. I wanted to raise him. I wanted to be with him. I wanted to spend more time with him. So we had a gym, and I was managing the gym back in Ohio. And Coleman called me and said, hey, you want to fight? I said, nah, man. I'm cool. I'm right here with my son. I'm watching WWE. And he said, $30,000 if you win. I said, who do I got to kill?
In October 1996, Randleman made his debut at Universal Vale Tudo Fighting 4 in Brazil.
He said, you just got to win 3 matches in one night. And I said, what do I got to do? He said, there's a ticket for you at the Cleveland airport. Your fight's in 28 days. face. Went to Brazil, fought a brawl. We didn't wear gloves. This is when it was real.
A bare-knuckle, no weight class tournament. With Coleman in his corner, he won 3 fights in one night, finishing 300-pound Dan Bobish in the final by TKO. The dominant performance earned him the nickname The Monster.
Brazil just loved us.
There was no rules when I started, especially in Brazil. It was a free-for-all.
Randleman kept building his reputation in Brazil.
Then we came back for the second 8-man tournament, and they stacked the deck against him, man.
At UVF6, he reached the finals after a grueling 20-minute war with Ebenezer Braga before being caught in a triangle choke by Carlos Barreto. Months later, he scored a quick knockout at the Brazil Open, but then suffered his first KO loss to the massive Tom Erickson. A punch so hard, Randleman had to be stretchered out of the ring with Erickson's help.
Size makes a big difference here. Oh, he just pummeled him. That's it, he's out. We're taking him out on a stretcher.
Tom knocked him out, but Kevin, one of these guys get right back on the horse. There was no hard feelings about that, because I think it helps for you to understand Kevin Randleman's mindset. He did not go take on fights that he knew he was going to win. He walked into the cage many of times knowing this is not going to be a fun night.
These early experiences, fighting multiple giants in marathon no-rules matches, forged Randleman's toughness.
I mean, it was bloody. Every fight I had in Brazil was very, very painful and traumatic for my face.
By 1999, with a 7-2 record and Hammer House behind him, he was ready for the UFC.
Kevin Randleman, the originator of the blonde hair. After him, everybody was doing it.
Randleman made his UFC debut on March 5th, 1999 at UFC 19, facing former heavyweight champion Maurice Smith, a seasoned kickboxer.
Kevin Randleman, before he would shake hands, would hit a Michigan. He'd walk on the mat and he'd jump in the air. He would jump so high that when he pulled his legs up, his feet would be level with his opponent's head. Guys, it intimidated the holy heck out of opponents. I mean, this was Kevin's thing. He would show them his power and his explosiveness before the match ever started.
Randleman used his wrestling and power to dominate, earning a unanimous decision and marking himself as a serious contender.
Kevin Randleman!
Randleman came in here. He was a confident warrior, and he's giving the Tarzan.
Make me an animal. How can I not be positive that I'm gonna win? Huh? Greatest man, greatest trainer in the world right here.
Just 2 months later, he was thrust into a title fight at UFC 20. With Randy Couture vacating the belt, Randleman met Dutch striker Bas Rutten for the heavyweight championship.
I'm in the hotel, elevator door opens, and he is. I get in and the elevator closed. Now we're with the two of us in the elevator. And he already has a smirk on his face, and I'm smirking, and I look at him and I go, good luck tomorrow. And he goes, thank you. He says, you too. And then we look and he says, if you keep your feet on the floor, I promise you I won't take you down.
He was like, all right. And I said, hey, if you don't kick, we can stand up and throw him. He's like, okay.
And I go, really? Yeah, okay.
It's a crazy deal.
Yeah, right?
What do you think the first thing he did when we ran across the ring?
Kicked you.
Front kick to the face.
The first thing he does, he slaps his thigh. Kick me. Right? So now I'm confused. So I go, oh wait, he's going to think I gave him a low kick. So I'm going to act like I give him a low kick, but I gave him a front kick to the face. So if he wants to time it to take me down, I'm going to get him square in the face. And I see something in his eyes, and I till a while after, I couldn't figure what it was. But in his mind, he of course thought, I thought we said we're not going to kick. Oh, I was talking to him the whole time.
During that fight, Boss and I talked. It was the only fight that I've ever talked to someone during a fight. His face was bleeding, the blood was in his eyes, and I just remember raking the blood out of his eyes. He was like, is it bad? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty bad. And he started hitting me with elbows, and my head started bleeding.
For 21 minutes, Randleman scored takedown after takedown, controlling from the top while Rutten struck from his back.
Because I was literally, people were booing because laying on the ground, I say, listen man, I think that the fans would like it much better if we stand back up. I'm trying to negotiate with him to go back on the feet, you know? And he goes, nah, let's stay here.
The judges awarded Rutten a controversial split decision, a result so debated it helped push the UFC to overhaul its judging system.
The decision goes against Mark Coleman in the Hammer House and Kevin Randleman.
Your thoughts on the decision, Mark?
It's a devastating loss for me and for Kevin as well, I'm sure. It looked to me like he clearly had won a fight.
A lot of people felt you won the fight.
No, you're gonna see this, boss.
I I lost that fight, and in the record books, no matter what, I lost that fight. But the best thing about that fight, it changed the whole entire game of MMA, because that was the last time the fights went 20 minutes. After that, they went to rounds, 5-minute rounds for championships.
And they scored the takedowns a lot more heavily after that as well, top position and takedowns. So
You're going to face this guy.
I won that fight, right?
Excuse me?
When we fought, I did win that fight, right? Seriously.
Tonight, you got to go, hey, okay, listen. There were judges. 2 judges were for me, 1 was for you. Ta-ta! You do the math, who was the winner there? But I was the winner, so let's go, just be professional. And you know what? I just don't like to be touched. Could you just don't touch me, okay? Okay, O'Hara. But I told you not to touch me, okay? Jesus! We got you guys. We got you.
One of my greatest friends that I've ever got through this whole entire fight thing is Boss Rutan.
Rutan soon retired, leaving the title vacant once again. On November 19th, 1999 at UFC 23 in Japan, Randleman got his second chance. This time, he left no doubt, grinding out a unanimous decision over Pete Williams to become the UFC heavyweight champion. At just 28 years old and only 3 fights into his UFC career, Kevin the Monster Randleman had reached the top of the sport. But away from the spotlight, that same night celebrating with friends, he revealed something deeply personal.
And I won the UFC heavyweight championship, and my boy's like, let's go out to the clubs. And I'm just sitting there, I took a nap, I woke up crying. My boy's like, yo, what's the matter? I'm like, nothing, fellas, I just don't want to talk right now, I just want to be left alone. And they were like, yo, you the champion of the world, why you so sad? I broke it down to them, like, you guys always think, why you such, you the monster? Well, I'm the monster because I'm always afraid that someone is trying to take advantage or trying to hurt me.
He had been sexually abused as a child, a trauma he rarely spoke about publicly.
I was a child and I was molested. For the longest, I thought something was wrong with me. And mentally, I was always phobic. Don't touch me, don't kiss me. But that's not my fault. The guy that had whatever perverted urge or perverted mind, he had a problem, not me.
So when I was younger, I was involved into an elite summer football program. I was 10 years old, and I remember one weekend, all my friends was like, let's go up to the Y, and I was late. There was a teacher at the time, but at 10 years old, I didn't know who he was. I was in the showers, he asked me to come here, I went to the steam room, and then, it happened. For me, it's like a sickening feeling. I didn't know what was going on, and even today, I still have dreams and nightmares. This was 30 years ago. But when I went home and told my parents, they kind of swept it under the rug.
I was a great kid up until then, and then after that, I just had problems because I never told anyone in my family. I've been shot, I've been stabbed. They even tried to commit suicide because of this pervert. A year and a half afterwards, I tried to take my life.
But a pedophile does not just steal the youth, the innocence of a child. When I was molested, he didn't touch just my life. He touched every life that came up after me, because everyone I talked to and everyone that I got close to, remember, I didn't like no one touching me. I was homophobic. I had a lot of problems with life, with people, with boys, with guys. So all my life, I was a volatile person. For me, remember, I'm a 10-year-old boy that had to grow up right away. I didn't deal with the child molestation part until I was 30 years old. And because of what I've gone through in my life, I know exactly how to prepare my kids for life when they leave my house. We can't have silent voices. That's the problem with our country. But the reason why I am who I am today was because of what happened to me at 10. I could have become a pedophile. I could have become a rapist. I could have become a bank robber. I could have done a lot of things, but I wanted to be more proactive. So in order to get out of the ghetto, I learned how to read better, study better. I learned how to just be better for myself. Instead of worrying about all the bad stuff, instead of worrying about the negative, I just started doing more positive stuff. And I lived my life through that.
It was a glimpse into the pain Randleman carried beneath his larger-than-life persona. Yet inside the cage, he had little time to dwell on the past. As champion, new challenges awaited, and his first title defense would soon become one of the strangest nights in UFC history. Randleman's first title defense was set for March 10, 2000, against knockout artist Pedro Rizzo at UFC 24. In a bizarre turn of events, Randleman suffered a freak accident backstage just hours before the fight. Randleman slipped on exposed pipes in the locker room, crashed to the concrete floor, and knocked himself unconscious. Rushed to the hospital with a concussion, the heavyweight champion was pulled from the card.
We just walk into the locker room and he says, I'm going to go out and walk around. And then about 5 minutes later, the boys he left with, they came back and said Kevin just fell. So he was walking through the curtains to get to the arena, and somebody had left 6 pipes laying right there, just like you see on a cartoon. He slipped on the pipes, he plowed his head on the cement on the ground, and he was out. That was it, man. Had to take him to the hospital.
Fans weren't told until moments before the fight, making it one of the strangest incidents in UFC UFC history, a champion literally knocking himself out before defending his belt. Randleman recovered, and the fight was rescheduled for UFC 26 that June. He used his wrestling and ground control to shut down Rizzo's striking, winning a unanimous decision and recording the only successful defense of his title. Later that year, Randleman faced former champion Randy Couture at UFC 28. He opened strong, even slamming Couture with a suplex in the first round, but Couture weathered the storm, took control, and in round 3 finished Randleman by TKO.
I was just a crazy son of a... I mean, I'm 5'10", so when I weighed 220 pounds, I look like I'm 240. I was the UFC heavyweight champion at 199. I won it weighing 199. Check the books. When I fought Randy Couture, I only weighed like 210.
After 1 year as champion, Randleman's reign ended, and so did his run as a UFC heavyweight. After his title loss to Couture, former friend of Randleman, Tito Ortiz, was badly injured in a honeymoon accident. Randleman reached out, calling him during his recovery and offering support, but only weeks later, Ortiz released an article implying that Randleman was using steroids.
If you were to fucking fight anybody, like personally, I want to punch you in the fucking face.
With Tito Ortiz, I want to bang him. Because of the things that have been said. I don't like those people that talk negative.
You saying Tito said some negative shit?
Oh, he's a negative person.
The accusation cut deep.
I'm jumping the cage right now for free just to put my hands on Tito Ortiz.
Is there a particular reason why you have this so much animosity towards Tito?
Yes, because he's a motherfucking two-faced pussy. I thought Tito was my friend. Tito and his wife got hit by a bus and almost got killed. They both almost died. When I heard about it, called Tito's house. I left a message and said, I would even wipe your fucking ass just to help you get better so you can get back in the ring. 2 or 3 weeks later, pussy-ass motherfucker puts in an article that I'm a steroid user and all this other shit like he knows firsthand. And I wasn't even on shit.
And to see a friend question his integrity left a lasting bitterness between the two.
When I found out that he said that about me, ever since then, I wanted a piece of him. Because he's a two-faced, backstabbing bitch. Dana White protected that bitch ass so fucking long. He got rid of me and kept his ass. That bitch ass motherfucker. Dana White protected him. Dana White's the only reason why that motherfucker has a fucking name. Ah!
Boy, I'm definitely going to change the subject on that, man.
After losing his title to Randy Couture, Randleman dropped down to the 205-pound light heavyweight division. At 5 feet 10 inches, he had often been undersized at heavyweight, and this move seemed like a better fit. His debut came on May 4th, 2001 at UFC 31 against rising star Chuck the Iceman Liddell. The fight was short and brutal. Liddell's striking power was too much, and he knocked out Randleman in the first round. Randleman rebounded a few months later in what would be his final UFC appearance. On January 11th, 2002, at UFC 35, he faced grappler Renato Babalu Sobral. Using patient wrestling and control, Randleman earned a unanimous decision. That win closed his UFC run with a record of 4-3. Afterwards, Randleman parted ways with the promotion.
No, I think they cut him on a win. Well, that's what I'm saying, but if that happened, that don't make any sense.
Still loyal to Coleman and Hammerhouse, but also expanding his training, he set his sights overseas. In 2002, at age 30, Randleman entered the world's premier Japanese organization, Pride Fighting Championships.
You head into Pride. When you got there, what was it like?
When it comes to fans, the Japanese fans are the best fans in the world. Why? Because you don't get booed in Japan. If you get booed in Japan, you'll probably never fight in Japan again because you fought that bad. America, guy gets taken down on the ground for freaking 15 minutes. I hear boos. I want to smack every single one of you fans that sit up there and boo us in the ring because you don't got enough action. Get in the cage with anybody.
Randleman made his Pride debut at Pride 22 in Nagoya, Japan. His opponent, pro wrestler Michiyoshi Ohara, barely engaged, even trying to flee the ring. Randleman won a lopsided decision. At Pride 23, he stopped Kenichi Yamamoto with knees.
Wow. This is like a beautiful.
At Pride 24, he faced Murillo Ninja Rua and won by doctor stoppage after opening a deep cut with a left hook. These wins established him as a contender at 205 pounds. In March 2003, Randleman met fellow powerhouse Quinton Rampage Jackson at Pride 25 with a title shot on the line. Randleman started fast, but Rampage dropped him with a brutal knee and uppercut, finishing with punches. It was his first loss in Pride.
This is why I love Kevin. After that fight, Vanderlei sitting front row, and I told him, I want your belt. I'm coming for your belt. Vanderlei came in the ring and pushed me. It was a big brawl. Kevin Randleman ran all the way back to help me out. Yeah, respect. He was a special guy.
Tell you something. Strong. You should be champion. Vanderlei can't beat you.
Thanks, man.
No one can beat you. Nobody can beat you but you. To me, you're the best.
Thanks.
That summer, Randleman nearly lost his life in a car accident. A seizure behind the wheel sent his SUV into a truck, leaving him with a massive head wound that needed 180 stitches.
I had a seizure. I had a Lexus SUV. Police officer them said I had to be doing 120. Boom, hit a truck. The truck slammed on its brakes. My car got turned around because there was a guy right behind me watching it. Like, my hood of my car came right through the cab, just cut everything like butter. Hit me right in the head here. And when it hit me here, it bent the hood of my car, but it grooved this all out. So I had 180 some stitches in this head.
Incredibly, just 3 months later, he returned at Pride Final Conflict 2003 to face Kazushi Sakuraba. After controlling the early rounds, he was caught in an armbar in the third. The loss stung, but his comeback so soon after a near-fatal crash only added to his legend. In 2004, Pride announced its heavyweight Grand Prix, and Randleman entered despite being undersized.
Because I have a I don't give a fuck attitude, they would offer Mark Coleman these heavyweights. But because Mark Coleman sometimes, if he would get injured, he broke his neck once, and I still did, and I won. So they said, oh my gosh. And then it's almost like they fed me to anyone.
Few gave him a chance. In the opening round at Pride Total Elimination 2004, he shocked the world by knocking out tournament favorite Mirko Krokop with a looping left hook and follow-up punches. The upset was named Knockout of the Year and remains one of the sport's most shocking moments.
When I hit him, it echoed in the whole entire, because they were silent. You heard that pop and then everyone erupted.
Shot back up to his feet. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And by Unbelievable. It's over, it's over, it's over. Unbelievable.
For all the fans, Japanese, Croatian, Russian, American, I just want to say God bless all of you. But for you, and you, I'll go to hell and heaven and back. I fight for you guys. I love you guys.
In the quarterfinals, Randleman faced undefeated champion Fedor Emelianenko. Within seconds, he delivered one of MMA's most iconic moments. A massive German suplex that spiked Fedor directly on his head.
One of the greatest slams in MMA history.
He can do things that nobody else can do, kind of pick a man up like that and miss breaking his head. That moment will never, ever, ever pass. That highlight will be highlight for life.
Can Randleman take him down? Oh my gosh,
But Fedor survived, reversed position, and submitted Randleman with a Kimura in under 2 minutes. Though eliminated, Randleman fought on.
Were you surprised that he recovered so quickly?
I didn't even know he was out. My head's up high. I lost to a better fighter today.
On New Year's Eve at Pride Shockwave 2004, he gave Krokop a rematch. This time, Krokop finished him in just 41 seconds with a guillotine choke. Randleman closed 2004 on a 3-fight skid, but in that year alone, he delivered some of Pride's most unforgettable highlights. But soon after, his health collapsed. Doctors discovered a severe fungal infection in his lung that had likely been building for months. In late 2005, Randleman underwent surgery to remove the infection. He recovered and set his sights on a comeback in 2006, even booking a fight against former UFC champion Vitor Belfort in Strikeforce. But before the event, the infection came back, forcing him to withdraw. Later that year, Randleman returned to action at Pride 32 in Las Vegas. On October 21st, 2006, he faced Mauricio Shogun Rua, younger brother of Ninja Rua he'd beaten in 2002. Shogun caught him in a leg lock just 1 minute into the fight. Randleman tapped quickly, suffering another defeat, but his worst blow that night came backstage. The Nevada State Athletic Commission drug tested him, and his sample showed no hormones at all, proof he had submitted fake urine.
For me, I mean, I've done things. I've had doctors prescribe me things, and that's it. I've never failed a drug test. I had some fake urine because I went through a bunch of shit. I had a lot of injuries. I had 16 surgeries over the last 6 years of my life. Almost died twice. So I was always on pain pills.
Randleman later admitted he'd been on doctor-prescribed medications after surgeries and feared a positive test. Rather than disclose them, he made the disastrous choice to cheat.
You know, back in the Pride days, this is something that a lot of people talk about. We're talking performance-enhancing drugs.
I can only talk on me. I've been proclaimed to be a steroid guy and an enhancing guy too. In my career, I've done a lot of things. I've taken a lot of bad stuff. When I was in Japan, I was just a crazy son of a bitch. It wasn't performance enhancing. More of the stuff I did was detrimental to my career than enhancing my career.
The NSAC revoked his license for 1 year. In February 2007, Randleman was officially suspended, leaving a stain on his career. Though he had never tested positive for steroids, the fake urine incident cast a shadow and sidelined him from the sport. By 2007, Randleman was 35 years old, with losses piling up, a suspension looming, and his health deteriorating.
Staph infection from dirty motherfucker.
I'm a clean guy, and there's a lot of dirty motherfuckers around who don't wash their ass and keep clean clothes, so that fucks shit up. So everybody out there, wash your ass.
He remained in critical condition for weeks, but by October 2007, he finally pulled through.
And look at me, I'm still fucking here ready to fight. Ain't nobody as hard as me. I am seriously that guy that don't give a fuck.
Scarred and drained, he admitted the ordeal humbled him, while promising never again to ignore serious symptoms. Remarkably, he was still determined to fight again.
I'll fight anybody, any fucking where. I want to go to the gym and train, but I got this infection, so it's stupid for me to go and train. I can fuck though. Believe me, I'm about to go do some things. That girl is 6'2" Italian. Damn bot.
On top of his medical battles, Randleman faced legal trouble that year. He was arrested in Nevada and charged with DUI, speeding, driving without a license, and intimidating a public officer. The case made local headlines and highlighted the turbulent period he was enduring outside the cage. After a year and a half out of competition, Randleman mounted a comeback. With his suspension over and his body finally healing, he signed with the new Japanese promotion World Victory Road, competing in their Sengoku events.
One person saying only an MMA guy could downplay a coma.
Well, to me, I gotta downplay everything because life is easy. It's what we make it harder than it needs to be. Well, I got the name the Monster for a reason. I mean, I'm still gonna be the monster in the ring, but outside the ring, I'm a very loving, caring kind of guy, you know. And now that I got my health back, I'm gonna make sure that I give every day the 110%.
On May 18th, 2008, at Sengoku 2 in Tokyo, Randleman returned against Ryo Kawamura. Still carrying surgical scars but showing flashes of his trademark explosiveness, he ground out a unanimous decision. It was his first win in over 2.5 years, an emotional triumph, proving he could still compete after everything he'd endured. He planned to stay active, but misfortune struck again. Booked to fight Jeff Monson just a month later, Randleman tore his shoulder, an injury he said actually happened during the Kawamura fight, and was forced to withdraw. He spent the rest of 2008 recovering. In November 2009, Randleman returned at Sengoku 11, facing Bulgarian prospect Stanislav Nedkov. He scored takedowns and reversals, but after 3 close rounds lost a controversial split decision many felt could have gone his way. Despite the setback, Randleman remained a name. Strikeforce signed him soon after, announcing him as a key addition to their roster of ex-UFC stars. His debut came on June 6, 2009, against wrestler Mike Whitehead at Strikeforce. Randleman fought cautiously, relying on grappling, but Whitehead outworked him and took a unanimous decision. Randleman returned for another Strikeforce fight on May 15, 2010, facing jiu-jitsu ace Roger Gracie. Gracie's size and submission skills proved too much, and he forced Randleman to tap to a rear naked choke in round 2. By then, Randleman's record stood at 17-15. He had lost 10 of his last 13 fights. Years of wars, surgeries, and infections had clearly taken their toll, and for the first time, Randleman began to accept that his fighting career might be near its end. His final fight came on May 7, 2011, in Khabarovsk, Russia. At 39 years old, he headlined the card against younger Russian prospect Vaga Agaev. Just minutes into the first round, Agaev caught Randleman in a modified armbar. Randleman tried to fight through the pain, but the hold dislocated his elbow, forcing him to submit in just over 4 minutes. The injury was so severe that his manager later released X-ray images showing the damage. For Randleman, it was the final blow in a career filled with physical battles. Shortly after the loss, he announced his retirement from MMA. He walked away with a record of 17 wins and 16 losses. The numbers told only part of the story. At his peak, Randleman was a ferocious competitor, a UFC champion, a Pride Grand Prix spoiler, and one of the most explosive athletes the sport had ever seen. His blend of power, speed, and fearlessness made him both a fan favorite and an icon of MMA's early years.
You retired from MMA. How difficult a decision was it to make? And in hindsight, do you feel as though you made the correct decision?
It was the worst decision of my life to walk away from fighting. Fighting was a way of releasing all the fucking aggression and anger that I fucking had. You know, we all got problems, we all got issues from our past. And the transition from being a fighter into normal life with normalcy and stuff was just bad for me. Right now, I'm just now coming out of on the other side, so at least I'm alive, I'm not dead.
Outside of fighting, Randleman built a full personal life. He married his first wife, Barbara, in 2000, and they had 2 children. The marriage ended in 2005. 4 years later, on April 25, 2009, Randleman married his longtime girlfriend and publicist, Elizabeth Brolia. Together they had 2 more children, bringing his total to 4. Friends often said Randleman was the opposite of his fierce in-ring persona. Humble, generous, and quick to smile, he gave freely to fans and peers. In retirement, he poured his energy into youth wrestling, founding the Monster Wrestling Wrestling Academy at Coronado High School in Nevada. Alongside fighters like Phil Baroni, Randleman coached and mentored kids.
I mean, I coach kids, I teach kids, I work with kids, I read to kids. If at any time you guys feel like you guys are being inappropriately touched, come to me right away.
That's right.
Because, you know, like Coach Kevin don't care. I don't care. I'm not scared of anybody. I'm not scared of anything. When it comes to kids, I'll give my life. I'll put my life on the line for them.
That right.
Because I know where I was when I was there.
I hate bullies, and I don't care where I'm at. If I see someone bullying someone just because they think that they're better, I'm gonna go off on them. I don't think of myself. I put other people before me. So a lot of times I'm gonna get in a lot of fights.
You've gone from fighter to coach.
It's an honor to be in the corner of most of these young guys because they're helping me stay focused. You know, I've been out of the game for a little bit, but I'm not out of the game. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't party, I don't roll, I don't do X. What I did caused me to slip a lot in my profession. I'm putting my time in, you know, working with young kids, giving my time back. We're trying to give the best wrestlers our best opportunity to go to college. Our motto at Monster Wrestling Academy is hard work, never quit, and you can be a champion.
During his career, Randleman also explored pro wrestling in Japan. In 2002, he debuted in All Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle One event, teaming with Mark Coleman. From 2003 to 2007, he made sporadic appearances in promotions like 0-1 and Hustle, even donning a masked superhero persona. By the mid-2000s, Randleman had settled into family life in Las Vegas.
Now that I have a second chance of being a father, it's kind of giving me that insight that I'm having a second chance to be a better man, a better mentor, a better coach, a better training partner, a better husband. First and foremost is I'm devoted to being the best possible person that I can be.
Despite the scars of countless battles, he remained vibrant, always sharing stories from his fighting days and reportedly working with Elizabeth on an autobiography.
I've had a lot of injuries, and you know, I'm writing an autobiography and everything. My autobiography is going to definitely tell you everything.
His spirit stayed proud and his legacy firmly intact. Tragically, Randleman's life was cut short in early 2016.
It's a very sad day in the world of mixed martial arts, as today we are mourning the loss of former UFC heavyweight champion Kevin the Monster Randleman, who passed away on Thursday at the age of 44.
While on a business trip in San Diego, he fell ill and was admitted to the hospital. Diagnosed with pneumonia, his condition quickly worsened. On February 11, 2016, Randleman died from complications of pneumonia that led to heart failure. He was only 44.
It was very much unexpected. He had not been ill, but suffering from pneumonia, and then it was heart failure that Jeremy Botter first reported on Thursday night.
And with Kevin Randleman, with Mark Coleman, those guys were one of the first crop of fighters that put together these super teams.
Kevin Randleman was the most charismatic, energetic, outgoing, kind, generous, giving person, loyal. I was blessed to be able to spend 30 years of my life with that guy, and we did everything together.
And I speak for the entire MMA community, if I can, to thank you and to thank Kevin for everything that you guys did for this sport that we love. Phil, I appreciate you coming on. I know it's not the best of times. How are you handling it all?
I think it was a shock. I don't know how this happened, to be honest.
Kevin Randleman is someone that was one of the best athletes that we've ever seen come into mixed martial arts.
His family, wife Elizabeth and his children, remembered him as a gentle soul and loyal friend behind the Monster nickname. Randleman's legacy in the sport is undeniable. A former UFC heavyweight champion, a Pride veteran, and one of the most explosive athletes of his era. He proved how elite wrestlers could thrive in MMA. In 2020, the UFC inducted him into the Hall of Fame's Pioneer Wing, the first fighter ever honored after passing away.
Me and his wife, Elizabeth, she made sure we're going to be here tonight celebrating Kevin's incredible life that he lived.
Randleman delivered unforgettable moments from shocking Crow Cop to suplexing Fedor and inspired countless fighters.
How did Randleman influence your career in all the many ways?
He's the reason I put gloves on, man. He was the reason I dyed my hair. He's the reason why I was a high school state champion wrestler.
A thing like this happens. It's really upsetting. He truly was a great guy. I mean, all my interactions with him where he's always laughing and smiling and hugging people, and then other people coming over, and it's just fans coming over. Hey, what's up, Kevin? He's like, how you doing, man? Yeah. So hugging everybody and smiling. I'm like, what a fucking jovial guy.
He was my best friend, my partner. We did everything together. I do miss him a lot. I know Kevin wants me to stay strong and accept this award with honor for him. The UFC Hall of Fame is something that really, really meant a lot to Kevin Randleman. This is something that he really wanted bad, and only the best get in. I'm happy that I'm in, and I'm happy that Kevin's in. That's all I know. Hammer House for life, motherfuckers.
Kevin the Monster Randleman will forever be remembered as a fearless competitor, a symbol of toughness, and an icon of MMA's golden era.
So much turmoil, so much tragedy going on, but so long as everybody keeps their chin up, nothing can hurt us. And everyone on this planet is unbreakable so long as you keep it here and here. God bless you all.